What's up, guys? George Balekji here with Foxboro Rush. But hey, check out the latest episode of Boston has entered the chat wherever you get your podcast. Casey Hudson and myself run through previewing the MLB season. We pick division winners from all 6 of them. We go with wildcard teams as well. Who's going to win the AL and NL and who's going to win the World Series. We also have our guys Ethan and Jason back on for their weekly ringside review. That's Boston has entered the chat wherever you get your podcast. Now, let's get to Foxboro Rush. What's up? What's happening? George Balekji here, back with Travis Thomas. T, it's been a minute, my man.
It's been too long, man. It's good to see you, my brother.
I'm just out, scouring the ice rinks of Boston.
Yeah. Listen.
Scouting the future of the NHL.
A lot of people could say a lot of things about you, George, but one thing they can't. They can never call you lazy, my friend.
My man, I appreciate that. They can call me short.
They can call you a lot of things.
Yeah.
I've called you some names my damn self.
Loud. Dumbass.
But I have never called you lazy, nor will I ever.
That's a fact. I say the same to you, my man. Hey, we got a packed show for you guys. A fun one to be back with T.
Yep.
All the talk, all the mocks we've done. Shout out to everyone that watched and commented on Mock Draft 3.0. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out on YouTube after this episode. But all the talk about what's going on with the Patriots and number 4, we've never really dove into the scenarios of picks 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to talk about if those teams stick. We're not going to go crazy, but we're going to run through what it looks like the Titans, the Browns, and the Giants will do, the 3 picks before the Patriots, because all the excitement we could have about Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, how realistic is that for the Pats? We'll be doing that. We'll talk a little more BC Pro Day. We have some noise from Ozzie Trapillo.
Yes.
Obviously, Norwell native.
Yep.
A man of BC.
Yep.
A multi-year starter at right and left tackle for the Eagles. So we'll be talking about him, Ozzie Trapillo. And a guy that the Patriots should be targeting, Drew Kendall, of course, interior offensive lineman, and Bill O'Brien did a great job putting that pro day together. 32 teams showed up for BC. And then we got some mailbag ready for you guys, including some updates on the DK Metcalf saga. So, T, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
How the draft will be going down and breaking down, as we know, at the end of April 24th to the 26th.
Not far.
First overall pick belongs to the Tennessee Titans.
Yep.
They need a quarterback. Second overall pick belongs to the Cleveland Browns. They need a quarterback.
They need an exorcism.
Third overall pick belongs to the New York Giants.
Yeah.
They need a quarterback.
I see what you're doing here.
But I don't think it goes that simple. So let's start with the Tennessee Titans. All 3 teams went 3-14. The Titans were in the first year with new head coach Brian Callahan, who was the offensive coordinator with the Cincinnati Bengals. Will Levis, talented, but found his level in a way of there's excitement, but the lows are way too low, and the simple processing that you want in a franchise quarterback, it's not there for him.
Right.
He'll be a good backup elsewhere. He'll be a Kenny Pickett-esque type guy. That's fine. Titans need a QB. They need a guy on the edge. They need a wide receiver.
They need everything.
So that's why the world is their oyster. If they go Travis Hunter at number 1 overall, they help out the defense, get an elite corner, and get a really good wide receiver. But they have Will Levis. If they go Abdul Carter, they just lost Harold Landry, but have Jeffrey Simmons, pillar position. Those are 2 blue chip guys.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be pointing to Cam Ward, though. So I point this out because you look at what the Titans have done. Let's just talk free agency.
Okay.
Signed Dan Moore, 4-year starter at left tackle. Signed Kevin Zeitler, who's been a right guard in the NFL since 2012, coming off his best career year with the Lions. Stopgap guard, but a right guard.
Yes.
You bring in Dan Moore, that means they take J.C. Latham, last year's first-round pick, put him back over to the right tackle spot, which is where he played at Alabama. So you have Dan Moore next to Peter Skoronski, Lloyd Cushenberry, who's okay, in the middle at center, but you have 2 really good guards by him, and you have 2 good tackles. We'll see if Latham makes a jump with Brian Callahan's dad, Bill Callahan, who's the best offensive line coach in the NFL, coaching that unit.
Right.
You don't make all those investments for protection for Will Levis. You make all those investments for protection for a Cam Ward, who may not seem like the guy that's a surefire number 1 overall pick. There is no Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May in this draft, or really in next year's draft too. We don't know enough about Archie Manning. We don't know enough about a Drew Aller. But Cam Ward has the traits. The arm strength, the accuracy down the field, the athleticism to extend plays, the poise, the composure, the processing, carrying that Miami team, which had an awful defense, and he had to do it all. I think everything points to Cam Ward going number 1 overall, which is good for the Patriots. But that's when I look at what the Titans have, that's what makes a lot of sense.
Let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
If you were to put a percentage on this, because I liked how you set this whole segment up. Titans need a quarterback. Browns need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Giants need a quarterback. Ward going 1. Sanders going 2 to the Browns.
Okay.
Jackson Dart, who's flying up everyone's board except you and I's.
I like Jackson Dart a lot.
Oh, you do? All right. To the Giants at 3. I like them too. I don't like them at 3, but
Fair.
for the sake of conversation.
Fair.
Ward, Sanders, and Dart going 1, 2, 3. What percentage would you put on that being a possibility?
How my dumb brain works. Notice I called myself dumb. You did not. You'll call me many things.
Many things. Dumb and lazy. 2 things I want.
Appreciate you.
What percentage
So
are
3
you?
quarterbacks going 3 straight picks?
Yeah.
2%.
Me too.
And
that's why I asked.
And it's not just the quarterback talent.
Mm-hmm.
It is the talent of Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter. Do you get me?
No, explain.
Because those are the two. Travis Hunter is a top-ranked prospect.
Yes.
Abdul Carter's a number 2 ranked prospect.
Yeah.
And it's not that, well, it's a weak draft. No. These guys would be 1 and 2
Right.
in 95% of drafts. I'll put
Absolutely.
a percentage on that.
Okay.
There are very important positions that are very expensive.
Okay.
So for that reason, that's also the 2%.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Jackson Dart go top 3 and Shedeur Sanders slide.
Wow.
I would be surprised if Cam Ward doesn't go in the top 2.
Yeah,
But
I'm with you there.
you
I
pick
would
your-
be shocked, bro. If Dart goes before Sanders,
Let me also say
it's
this.
all that's wrong with this league.
Let me say this too, though. But Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, I think they both won't be day 1 starters. They will have to sit for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
Depending where they land, it could help them, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to pass on Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter to pick someone that will sit. Again, we'll get into the
Right.
Browns scenario, though, where you would if you're the Browns in my eyes, and you could if you were the Giants. But once again, if you're the Giants at 3 and you're facing Carter or Hunter, and we'll get into that, I just
Sure.
can't imagine them going, no, let's go Jackson
Let's
Dart
go
over.
Jackson Dart. Yeah, no, that's fair.
I put it at 2%.
There's also still time, too, for the shoe to drop. Like,
Yep.
you know, I know we're talking Giants now, but it's like, is Rodgers in play still? I don't know. So there's
think
other
he-
things
yeah.
there where maybe instead of drafting a Dart at 3, if you get an Aaron Rodgers and you sit him, if you get an Aaron Rodgers, if you're Giants, maybe you don't even consider Jackson Dart and you just punt on quarterback down for the future. As far as the Titans at number 1, I agree with you. I mean, this is, you know, we're not breaking any news here. It's going to be Cam Ward. I think from the beginning, it was his spot to lose, that number 1 pick. From the beginning. Now, it was closer at the beginning. Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders. I thought this would be like a situation where it was a debate right up in the draft night, kind of like Manning and Leaf back in the day.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. Pretty much Cam Ward pulled away, and it has been his number 1 pick to lose, and he has done nothing for that to happen.
Yeah.
So I agree. Where I question it a little, and only time will tell. I just don't know if this is going to be the answer for the Titans. I mean, Will Levis had a lot of the same traits as Cam Ward. Athletic, could throw a football over those mountains. He could make every throw, every platform. He can move. He's a good athlete. He's this, he's that. And he has absolute scrambled eggs for brains.
And Cam Ward does not.
Well,
He's taking that leap. His processing, his
Again.
pre-snap recognition, and then you pair him up with Brian Callahan.
That's a college game.
And that's
a college
fine.
game. That's a college game.
But he's
so we'll
shown
see.
that.
We'll see.
Levis was a flawed
He
piece.
was.
And
He
taking
was.
when he was taken was very questionable.
He was.
And that was the Titans team with their backs to the fire because Ryan Tannehill was washed up and Mike Vrabel, whether he knew it or not, was coaching for a job. And also new front office going in
all
too.
fair points. All I'm saying is this.
Yeah.
We have all been in situations where you look at a kid going number 1 overall at that position, you go, that's going to work. Barring injury, that's going to work. That guy's going to work. I have not got that from any draft expert we've had on this show. I haven't got it from you. I don't feel that way. No one feels like this is a slam dunk, can't miss. It does feel like that's a guy you should take at that position if you're the Titans. I'm just not as convinced as I have been in years past with different prospects that it's going to work. To your point, he's going to need to sit. He's going to need to marinate a little bit. I don't know if he's going to have that real luxury in Tennessee. This could be baptism by fire. Does that stunt his growth of what he can become? So I have a lot of questions once the pick is made and Cam Ward is there. But as far as draft night, number one, we know how it's going to go. It's going to be Cam.
Yeah, and I get the trepidation you may have.
Yeah.
If this was the Giants picking number one overall, and that was Cam Ward going number one of the Giants, I'd feel a lot better about the whole situation.
Right.
That's a Giants team with 2 good tackles.
Yeah.
Okay interior line and Malik Neighbors. And a good front seven, right?
Yeah.
So
and an offensive-minded coach.
Exactly, and Brian Dable. Yes. We'll get into the Giants. Let's talk Browns then. So we're thinking Cam Ward 1. The Browns at 2, man. That's the one that's interesting. So they're stuck for 2 years with Deshaun Watson's contract. Cap hits at 36th and $80 million.
Why'd you say stuck? They are held hostage.
Yeah, fair. Thank you.
That's like blink twice if you're okay, and they can't blink.
And he got a great head coach in Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Dumb ownership. The next two teams, dumb. You can say all 3 dumb ownership.
Facts.
But the next 2 teams are dumb ownership, starting with the Browns.
Yeah.
They just paid Myles Garrett 4 years, $160 million, the best defensive player in the NFL, many would say. I wouldn't argue if someone felt that way either, right? So you have that. Really good cornerback in Denzel Ward. Greg Newsome seems to kind of be losing his game there. Jerry Jeudy had a revival year, nothing behind him. Good players at every level. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett.
Great player.
Just mentioned Denzel Ward as well.
Yep. Their roster's lit, bro. They're stacked.
Again, when you don't know as much about the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And with Jameis Winston signing with the Giants, and we'll get into that.
Oh, God.
And also, Deshaun Watson doesn't have an Achilles right now. Like, he's not ready week 1.
Gosh. What a mess.
Do the Browns go Shedeur Sanders at 2?
They should.
Okay.
I can't for the life of me. I can't find a mock draft that has them taking them, though. Not one. Not one. Now, the good thing for the Browns in this sense, if you don't go the quarterback route, you have your pick of the litter here. And you talked about how in any other draft, these guys, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, could be the number 1 pick, no question about it. But the Browns will have their pick. If you think about the Browns, even though we like their roster, George, you could use another receiver. You could use another corner. I mean, Travis Hunter literally fills both holes for you. I mean, we talk about this with the Patriots. The Browns could use that too. What the hell team couldn't use that?
Yes.
Someone who has the potential that Travis Hunter has at 2 premier positions in his league? Are you kidding? So if they go Travis Hunter at 2, no one's going to be shocked. Now, I thought for sure they were going to take Abdul Carter because I thought for sure Myles Garrett was a man of his word. I'm tired of losing. I want to win before my career's over. Cleveland, you helped me as a man, but it's time for me to be out. How much money did you say?
40?
I'm staying, baby.
Yeah.
I'm here forever. Like, what? So with him staying now, I'm not as confident that they take an Abdul Carter, but they could. They could say, you know what? Myles is here and happy. We gave him all the money in the world. We can't afford this Abdul Carter kid once a contract comes around, but we can damn sure afford him on a rookie deal. Let's get him and Myles Garrett on the edge. Good luck, anyone. In that division, think about this.
Yeah.
Look at all the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Lamar, Joe Burrow. I mean, they got to compete with this stuff. Maybe Aaron Rodgers. So if you bring in an Abdul Carter and pair him with a Myles Garrett, my goodness gracious. Okay,
Yes.
So they could go that direction. No one would be shocked.
Yep.
But I think it should be Shedeur Sanders simply because you can debate it. He's the second best quarterback in this draft. Okay,
Yeah.
He's better than Jackson Dart. Everyone just watch the tape. Okay, so you bring him in. This is a kid who knows. He's moved around programs. He's been high profile. He was on 2 losing programs and turned them around. He was a quarterback. QB1. Had the spotlight on him his whole life. He's a good kid. He's not going to go out and get in trouble. I mean, you're dealing with this Deshaun Watson character. Are you kidding? You need a grown-up. You need someone who's not going to be getting in trouble and bringing a bunch of negative attention to your already putrid franchise. I think Shedeur Sanders is a no-brainer here, but I just don't believe they're going to do it. So I guess Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, take your pick. If I were the Browns and I wasn't going to take Sanders, I would go Travis Hunter here. I would.
He'd make a lot of sense, man.
Hunter or Sanders?
Travis Hunter. You
Yeah.
pair him opposite of a Denzel Ward.
Right.
And then on the money downs, again, you have him opposite of a Jerry Jeudy, and he's a better receiver than a Jerry Jeudy. All the time, I'll say it. Travis Hunter is Garrett Wilson. Would you rather have Garrett Wilson or Jerry Jeudy?
Garrett Wilson.
Exactly. So he would be Denzel Ward's so good, but he could be your cornerback 1, and he could be your wide receiver 1.
He's that special.
Kenny Pickett's their backup. They're going to start the season with him. The Browns don't put themselves in the worst situation, though, Trav. You get Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Generational talent on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Fills multiple needs for this team. You have Kenny Pickett start the season. You're going to be picking top 3 again. And with the quarterback litter in next year's draft, that can make it happen. Or, and here's the thing, though. Listen to this. You know where Kevin Stefanski was before he was with the Cleveland Browns? Quick trivia for you. I know you hate trivia. The Minnesota Vikings. You know who he coached for 2 seasons? Minnesota Vikings.
Some seasons ago.
Kirk Cousins.
Cousins.
And he's the reason Kirk Cousins got that bag. And what he did with Kirk Cousins is why he got the head coaching job.
Right.
What's to stop the Browns on going, let's pass on this draft with quarterbacks that have to sit.
Yep.
Let's wait till next draft. There won't be a Travis Hunter next year's draft. There will be a quarterback in next year's draft.
Yeah.
Take Travis Hunter. And you know what? If we're in the mix and Travis Hunter's impacting, making us win more games, and Myles Garrett's still playing outstanding, what's to stop them from trading for Kirk Cousins if Kenny Pickett doesn't work out?
Boy. What's that asking price on that trade, I wonder, though?
It's a big contract.
Yeah.
You'd have to navigate the books a lot. You're stuck with the Deshaun Watson.
Falcons are going to eat that money. That's what that's going to look like. Yeah, it's a good point by you. Either way, I just don't see. Okay, let me ask you this, because I said Shedeur Sanders is the best fit because of what he's already shown you he can deal with. I think so much of being a quarterback in Cleveland is just dealing with being a quarterback in Cleveland, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I don't think he raises the floor, though. That's the thing.
What do you mean by that?
The raises, literally translates to more wins for the Browns. Now, any quarterback will translate to more wins for the Browns than Deshaun Watson. We've seen that. Joe Flacco,
then Kenny Pickett,
Jameis Winston.
Because Kenny Pickett's going to be the starter.
When you have a Kevin Stefanski with them, it's again, if they were picking 4, it'd be easy. But you would have to be passing on Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter to go with the quarterback that I don't think translates to that many more wins.
Yes.
And that's where it comes from.
Yes.
Now,
Fair.
to the opposite end, I love that you point out Travis Hunter and his fit. Like, I have it down in my notes. Bingo. Abdul Carter, who's to say him opposite of Myles Garrett? They're not going to say, let's win 15-10 every week.
Yeah.
And we're going to have these 2 guys wreak havoc on the quarterbacks you mentioned, everyone on their draft.
It would be so Cleveland of them.
Either way they can go.
Yeah.
And so the Browns, to me.
Who's your pick then, officially? I'm going to go Hunter.
If I'm the Browns at 2.
Yeah. I'm going Hunter. I got Ward and Hunter.
I think Hunter, it would help out a Kenny Pickett. It would help out this defense.
Yeah.
And you can get an elite edge rusher later on.
Okay. All right. We agree. If you love Foxboro Rush, make sure you check out Hold My Banner on Nesson as well. It's Celtics. It's NBA. In fact, in our latest episode, AJ DeBonsis, the #1 recruit in the country who's headed to BYU, he stops by and talks about his future and growing up in New England as well. He's from Brockton, Mass. Check out Hold My Banner. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever else you get your podcast. Let's see if we agree for the Giants. I'm so curious. I want you to go first because I feel very passionately about my pick.
So the Giants signed Jameis Winston, 2 years, $18 million total. That is bridge backup quarterback numbers, but a good bridge backup quarterback.
Yep.
They have Andrew Thomas at left tackle, Jermaine Illuminor at right tackle. Both have been productive. Still need to invest in that interior offensive line. They have Malik Neighbors, clear-cut wide receiver 1, elite talent. Pair him with Darius Slayton as a wide receiver 2-3. That's a good core.
Yep.
Defensively, they have Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns up front.
Okay.
Kayvon Thibodeau. They still have time if they want to pick up his 5th-year option, but it's his last year of his contract before that 5th-year option would kick in.
Sounds like a good defense.
Andrew Phillips, 3rd-round pick last year, good corner.
Yep.
They also have their 2nd-round pick last year, who was a good safety play too.
Yep.
As well. So Tyler Nubin, had to look through my notes on that one. So if they have that pick, and let's say even same thing, it's quarterback, top 2. Both Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter make sense for them. Now so I want to start there. So let's say it goes quarterback. They have the pick. To me, I'm going Travis Hunter here.
Wow.
What are you thinking?
I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be a New York Giant, and I'm going to be really happy on draft night for a few reasons.
It'd be a great spot for him to land in.
It's the spot. You get Brian Dable, you get Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, they feel like they're constantly rebuilding the offensive line, but at some point, maybe
if Andrew Thomas can stay healthy, they have the tackles figured out, which is important.
I'll tell you this, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying with Shedeur with the Browns. It's the same exact thing with the Giants, only bigger.
Yeah.
This guy in Shedeur Sanders has been to multiple colleges that were losers. Mm-hmm. And he walked in with his dad, we got to see him play without having his father being the coach.
Yep.
But with his dad, he has walked into multiple loser situations and made them winners. And not only made them winners, but has put the spotlight on these programs with him and his father. The Giants could use all of that because what that is a culture builder. The Giants are a mess and have been. And Brian Dable is lucky to still be there and have his job, but he is an offensive mind. He does work well with quarterbacks. So now you get this pro-ready quarterback in Shedeur Sanders, who is a culture builder. You bring him in there. He has weapons. He has a coach who believes in him with an offensive scheme. And it's the Big Apple, George. Mm-hmm. It is the Big Apple. That is the perfect landing spot for this kid. And not only that, I think he will shine. I think he will be a fantastic quarterback in this league, wherever he ends up.
Yeah.
But the Giants is a wonderful place for him to go. The only other thing I could see is the Giants go stupid here and they go Jackson Dart over Shedeur, which is possible. But I do think they'll take a quarterback. I personally think it should be and it will be Shedeur Sanders on draft night, which leaves Abdul Carter, thank you, dropping into the Patriots' lap.
That's a good map out of it. Now, if those quarterbacks are gone, 1-2.
Oh.
Now, picture Travis Hunter dropping.
If they're gone 1-2, Jackson Dart's going to the Giants.
If they're gone 1-2, Travis Hunter's going to the Giants.
You think? I think they'll take Dart.
They need help in the secondary. And as much as I like Andrew Phillips, Travis Hunter be their wide receiver 1.
Absolutely.
They get to the red zone. They have Travis Hunter opposite of Malik Neighbors, so he doesn't have to be that wide receiver 1.
Woo.
And they have Jameis Winston. The Eagles just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Commanders were just in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
The Giants have gone from 9 wins to 6 wins to 3 wins. Mm-hmm. John Mara wants to win games. He messed up by overpaying Daniel Jones to have a franchise quarterback, but John Mara wants to win games. What wins more games than having an elite corner and an elite wide receiver too?
Sure.
And that's what he does. They don't need help on the defensive line. They don't need that crucial help on the offensive line. They have their bridge quarterback. And for Brian Dable and Joe Shane, who are coaching and GMing for their job, what would keep their job? Wins.
Yeah.
Let's get Travis Hunter now. Let's continue to build around this young offense.
Right.
And let's get the quarterback down the road. Let's trade, again, possibility. Let's trade for Kirk Cousins.
Sure.
Let's trade for someone else. Maybe we could get someone in the second round, someone later in the draft, to Quinn Ewers. We see someone smart to get these guys the ball and work quick. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Can someone fall out of the first and then we scoop them? And that could be a Jackson Dart, but I think he ends up going top 20. Opposite end of that, Kayvon Thibodeau has not lived up to the billing of being a number 5 overall pick.
No.
And they have the deadline for his 5th-year option is May 1st. What's right before May 1st? The NFL draft.
That's right.
They take an Abdul Carter.
That tells you.
They say no to the option on Kayvon Thibodeau, and then they can trade him at the deadline to a selling team.
Yeah.
That's where getting Jameis Winston for a team that was in on Aaron Rodgers, a team that was in on Russell Wilson, you get a Jameis Winston with the desperation for winning games in New York. That's a different desperation than getting the franchise quarterback. That's why with the Giants, I see them passing on QB at 3, and they go, if Abdul Carter falls to us, great. If Travis Hunter falls to us, phenomenal.
Well, what worries me in your scenario, if you still have Shedeur Sanders on the board at that point, I could see the phone ringing off the hook for the Patriots. One of these quarterback needy teams falls in love. I don't know. Jets, Raiders, Saints. We all know the suspects. It's the usual loser suspects. All of a sudden that phone starts ringing, and if you're the Patriots, you're staring at, in our scenario here, an Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, one of them is going to be available. Your phone starts ringing, and that team's in love with Shedeur, and they're like, we need to come to 4 to get this kid. We don't want to play the game that he drops to us. We want to ensure that we get him. What will it take? The Patriots have to entertain that phone call. And it would drive me nuts on draft night. You know me. We've watched the draft together. I will lose my shack if a Travis Hunter's on the board and Abdul Carter's on the board and they trade back. But I'll also understand it because some team is going to fall in love. If Shedeur Sanders is still on the board when the Patriots pick at 4, look, I'll just have to be mad on draft night, but I'll understand it, especially if you get a haul back. I'll be upset if they don't get a haul, but I think they will get a haul back, George. I really do.
So if Shedor's there, now say it goes Cam Ward 1, Travis Hunter 2, Abdul Carter 3, Shedor's there at 4. I would have no issue with the trade back.
I wouldn't either at that point. I just don't think both of those guys are going to be there.
If Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter are there at 4, they take them. You don't trade back.
I don't know. Well, that's my point.
They have that extra third, and they can trade back into the first, and they can get the Erante Ursary, who should be a left tackle. If not, he's a right tackle.
That's why I'm nervous.
That Josh Connerly, that Josh Simmons.
That's why I'm nervous, because if he is there, George, it may be an offer that they can't turn down. These teams, when they fall in love with quarterbacks, now we're used to seeing it at 1. But if some team out there is like, what? The Giants didn't take Shedeur? This changes our whole draft. Pick up the phone, by any means necessary, get him to blank, Vegas, wherever. What are you going to do? You're not going to hang up the phone if they're offering a haul and you pick up a ton of draft picks in this draft, which is really kind of what you need to fill this roster out, especially offensively. Look, I don't want it to happen. I would be upset if it happened, but I would at least understand it. I get it.
In our last mock we did, we were given that haul from the Vikings. But Abdul Carter was on the board. Shout out to Sean McGuire, who's doing the mock with me. He said, Abdul's there. To go, you're right.
Yeah.
Minimize that, said, taking Abdul Carter. I think if it's Hunter or Carter, they take them no matter what. Unless it would be the most massive king's ransom. And something that could put them in a way where they don't slide back too far.
Sure.
And then they could still trade back into the first, and they could double dip with high-profile talent.
Right.
It's just interesting, the scenarios. I think Titans go Cam Ward no matter what.
Me too.
Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter makes sense for the Browns.
Yep.
Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter makes sense for the Giants.
No Shedeur
and quarterback
from you.
need makes sense for all of them too.
You like the fit for Shedeur, but you don't believe the Giants take him. Is that fair to say?
If they are faced with Shedeur or Abdul Carter, I could see them going Shedeur. If they are faced Travis Hunter or quarterback, I think they go Travis Hunter.
Okay. All right.
And that'd be a great landing spot for Shedeur Sanders. If I'm Shedeur, I'd rather be in New York than Cleveland or Tennessee.
Hell yeah.
Working with that play caller, that offensive line, you have Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, man.
We'll see. What is it? We're just under a month from the NFL draft. It's coming quick, my man.
I can't wait, man. I'm ready for it to get here. I really want Travis Hunter, but I'll settle for an Abdul Carter. If I don't get either on draft night, I just see me. It's going to be a problem. I'm just telling you.
I'm just picturing it. I got to ask one thing from you.
Yeah.
Just don't punch me in the face.
I won't.
When it's Armand Membo, and I go, dude, this is a really good tackle.
If Travis Hunter's on the board and they take him,
no.
I will lose it.
Yeah, I will lose it too.
I'll lose it.
Yes. I will vomit.
So you have him over Will Campbell now. This is done.
Armand
it's Membo over Campbell.
No, kind of.
Sounds it.
I'm not fully decided. I'm not ready for that take yet.
Sounds it.
I'm preheating the oven.
Sean McGuire went there with me.
I'm preheating the oven.
He's on Membo.
Well, all right, fine. Real quick. Let me pull up my Membo notes.
Here we go. I did the same thing with him, and I said, you're talking real high about this kid. Would you take him over Campbell at 4? I said if Hunter and Abdul Carter are off the board, and he said he would, and I was like, wow, just
33.5-inch arms, 81-inch plus wingspan, showed up with a 9.7 broad jump, and being 6'4", 330 pounds to have that type of explosiveness, still really raw. He will be 21 as a rookie. Woo. And Marcus Bryant, the left tackle for the Missouri Tigers, is a good left tackle. That's why he was playing right. And maybe Marcus Bryant couldn't make the switch. If you think he could play left tackle, you swing on the Armand Membo over the Will Campbell.
Okay.
And it's just because the lack of wingspan from a Will Campbell is such a red flag for me. That would be such an outlier, such an anomaly.
He's a guard, bro.
Be a really good guard.
No one wants to say that. He's a guard.
You need a left tackle.
That's right.
You need a left tackle.
That's right.
Hey, make sure to stream the entire Red Sox season with the NESN 360 annual plan, available at all new reduced price of just $20 a month paid annually. And for a limited time, get 4 free tickets to Fenway with your purchase. Visit NESN360.com to sign up today. All right, man. So fun day at BC's Pro Day the other day. All 32 teams showed up. The Patriots sent 10 people, including Mike Vrabel, Elliott Wolf, Doug Marrone. So the VP of personnel, the head coach, and the head offensive line coach. Really why was Ozzie Trapillo, who's looking at a day 2, day 3 pick, was working out. Ozzie checks all the boxes that you would want in a prospect of that stature. Played both sides, 6'8", 320. Full season starting at left tackle, 2 full seasons starting at right tackle. He could be great. But let's start with, you guys have heard enough from T&I. Here's Bill O'Brien, head coach of BC, friend of the program, talking about his boys Ozzie Trapillo and Drew Kendall.
Yeah, look, I think like when you're looking at O-line, this is all just my opinion. But what the teams that call me and what they observe is you've got very bright guys, you got very tough guys, you got guys that never miss practice, guys that never misses games, guys that both were, again, like Donovan, were unanimous captains. The whole team voted for him to be a captain. They're very bright guys. They're both have master's degrees from Boston College. These are the guys you want in your locker room. That's my opinion. When I was in Houston, these were the type of guys, especially at that position, that you want in your locker room. And so, these guys, any team that drafts Ozzie and Drew is, very fortunate to have them, in my opinion.
Drew Kendall, 3-year starter at center. Ozzie Trapillo, 3-year starter at tackle. Yeah. First out left tackle, then switched to right. And that's a guy right around pick 100 can go. Mm-hmm. And for the Patriots in their scenario, they're going to go left tackle in their first 2 picks.
Yeah.
And Ozzie Trapillo, right around their 3rd or 4th pick in the draft, wouldn't sound insane. Or for them, it would be 4th or 5th. They have 2/3. Wouldn't be insane because Morgan Moses, good stopgap. Ozzie Trapillo is the type of kid that has a size, has a strength, has the IQ and experience.
Yeah.
He could be a starting right tackle one day for sure. And then they would have him and fill in the blank on left tackle the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
He would be great. And the same thing with Drew Kendall. That'd be a guy that's late day 3, maybe a UDFA possible.
Yeah.
But can play any of the 3 spots in the interior offensive line. Hearing Bill O'Brien talk about Ozzie Trapillo, that's a guy we've had on the show, crushes it in interviews,
that's
super
what I was
smart.
Say. Yeah.
That's someone that there's a reason 32 teams were there for BC's Pro Day.
Yes.
And it wasn't because Bill O'Brien's now the head coach. That certainly had a factor.
Yeah.
But they also know when you have an NFL guy running a college team, but his top 3 prospects, top 4 really, edge, Donovan Ezeraku.
Yep.
Tackle, Ozzie Trapillo. Defensive tackle, Cam Horsley. And then interior offensive line, and then Drew Kendall. That's what brings 32 NFL teams to a Pro.
This is where I'm going to give you your props because I remember having Ozzie on the show. I remember having Donovan Ezeraku on the show, and you brought this whole scenario up to both of like, listen, like keep balling this season. You have good workouts, leading up to the draft. You may not be leaving town. You may be with the Patriots.
Yeah.
And of course, we laughed and we thought, man, how cool would that be? But now we're looking at this stuff as a real reality. And you have to think the relationship between Bill O'Brien and Mike Vrabel, this is going to be the gift that keeps on giving, George.
Yeah.
We're going to see this connection between those guys because they're tight. We're going to see this connection almost, I would call Boston College possibly a feeder system for the Patriots as time goes on.
Yeah.
Because obviously we know Bill O'Brien's building the program up because they look good. And I think they're going to be good this season.
Yeah.
This upcoming season. The Patriots are building their program up, rebuilding that franchise. So they're almost, I think with Bill O'Brien and Vrabel, they're at the same starting blocks right now. And so I just think there's going to be a lot of conversations. Hey, we've had this kid for this X amount of years. Keep your eye on him in the draft. And Vrabel will do that. I just think this is what we're going to see. This is Gen 1 of that. Mm-hmm. Ozzie, Donovan, all these guys is Gen 1 of that. I would not be shocked at all if we see multiple Boston College players on this Patriots roster.
And especially with the offensive lineman on this one.
Especially with the lineman.
And a Cam Horsley late in the draft as a defensive tackle.
Yeah. Actually, trenches, right? Just line of scrimmage on both sides, defense and offensive line.
And in any scheme that wants 4 down defensive linemen, Cam Horsley fits really well into that type of scheme.
Yes.
Explosive, ran a good 40 yesterday.
That's right.
Big body, super strong, great bull rusher. Needs to get developed to develop more than just to rely on your strength and power and just overbear guys.
Yep.
Because in the NFL, they're going to be stronger and stop you. But when you have a Terrell Williams, that's what helps.
You can develop.
And a great part Bill O'Brien mentioned about Donovan Ezeraku was how Doug Marrone, when he's the offensive line coach for BC, was helping out Donovan Ezraku build his repertoire of pass rush moves. Okay, that'd be a Doug Marrone you'd have with a rookie that the Patriots draft as well.
That's right.
So Ozzie Trapillo, and in our latest mock that we did as well, again, check that out wherever you get your podcast after this show.
Okay.
How it went down for Sean McGuire and I went Abdul Carter 4th overall. Arante Ursary fell to pick 38 out of Minnesota. Is a left tackle right now. Could eventually be a right tackle if he doesn't move, but he's so big. He takes up so much space.
Yeah.
Get him with the right coaching. A Doug Marrone, he could be a left tackle. Jalen Noel, a guy I'm crazy about. That was the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Andrew Makuba, free safety out of Texas with the 77th. Then Trapillo fell. It was a value pick there. 106th overall in the 4th round. The real thing is that you're going to see the Patriots go in the 1st or 2nd round, or top 2 picks and go offensive tackle. You're going to see later in this draft, they go tackle again. And it could be an Anthony Belton, 3-year starter at left tackle at NC State. It could be a Holland Pierce, 4-year starter right and left tackle, who's a house of a human out of Rutgers. 6'8", 350. Looks like he's 6'8", 380, all muscle. Carries it so well. Gosh. But is the most fluid mover.
Right.
Logan Brown started just 1 year at right tackle for Kansas. Never broke the lineup at Wisconsin. I was there when he was recruited by the Badgers and came in. Highly touted prospect. Just wasn't good in pass pro, but showed that to be better at Kansas. Belton, Pierce, Logan Brown, developmental pieces. Okay. Trapillo, to an extent, developmental.
Yeah.
Needs to work on his hands.
Right.
Needs to be a little more fluid when he moves, but he is athletic. He actually mirrors rushers very well.
The size, too.
But it all makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and that's where they're at. It's in a good spot because you have a Trapillo at 6'8", 320. If you have him opposite of an Armand Membu, who's about 6'5", 330.
Who you're drafting at number 4.
It would be a good offensive line down the road. And sprinkle in some interior offensive line.
Disregard that, dog. You're just going to ignore me, yo.
Here was Bill O'Brien talking about our boy, Donovan Ezraku.
I love this kid.
As well.
Look, Donovan, first of all, is just a very bright guy, great teammate, unanimous captain. The whole team voted for him to be the captain of the team, one of the captains of the team. He's got an excellent takeoff at the end of the line of scrimmage. He really did a great job of developing his pass rush skills this past year. Actually, Coach Marrone, the O-line coach of the Patriots now, he worked a lot with Donovan this past year, on a week-to-week basis for a pass rush plan in the games. And Donovan really, did a great job of putting that plan into action. He just did an unbelievable job. He never quit, never gave up. He actually probably, I would say, he actually won us a couple games single-handedly by sacking the quarterback and creating turnovers and things. So can't say enough great things about Donovan.
In a deep defensive line draft, Donovan Ezraku was one of the top prospects. And that's a guy that's a day one starter, too.
Yes.
Like, there's Abdul Carter. And it all depends if it fits. There's a Jack Sawyer. There's a Nick Scorton.
Yep.
And then I really love what Donovan Ezraku brings. But that's a guy that could go first round. So technical, so fundamentally sound. Not the twitchiest athletic-wise.
Yeah.
Not the best run defender, but you build with that.
Right? He's slightly undersized. Listen, honestly, bro, you and I, we were happy for the kid because we really liked him, as you spoke about when he came on the show. He was so great, and he stood out to us. But I remember Senior Bowl, the week of practice leading up to the Senior Bowl.
Glowing up, man.
And he was annihilating cats.
Yep.
And his stock started going up, and me and you both were so happy for him. But we also knew that was the moment the Patriots are going to lose out on this kid. We both we both knew. Like, all right, well, now there is no under the radar. There is no cat's out of the bag, right? And I think that, in my opinion, you correct me if I'm wrong because you're GM George here, but I think that week of practice leading up to the Senior Bowl is what solidified and got Donovan Ezraku into the first round. Would you agree with that? Before that, I don't know if he would have got there, but certainly now I think because he's going to go in the first round, I think it's likely he's not going to be a New England Patriot. Now, you never know. They could be trading back.
Yeah.
Maybe back end of the first round.
Yeah.
They're there. They're obviously familiar with him. They could take him. But my gut is I think Ozzie Trapillo, Drew Kendall, they have a better shot of becoming Patriots than Donovan Ezraku. I think that ship has sailed because of how stellar this kid has been in the pre-draft, all the things he's had to do.
I could just see him going easily top 25.
Yeah.
Packers.
Yeah. Feels like a Packer, doesn't he?
Maybe Broncos. I think Broncos end up going offensive weapon. Ravens at 27. He would just make a ton of sense for them there. The Lions at 28. Commanders at 29.
Yeah.
The Senior Bowl solidified him as a first rounder.
Yes.
That's for sure. He was working there. He worked his way there. Then it solidified him.
Yes.
And Drew Kendall, I mean, that's a guy. It makes sense for him to land with the Patriots because that's a late day 3 pick.
That's what I'm saying.
Where he's going to fall there, and if he's there.
Yeah.
And don't overlook like Doug Marrone having the connection to a Drew Kendall or an Ozzie Trapillo pushing, go get these guys. I know them well.
Absolutely.
They will help Drake May no matter what.
Yep.
Drew Kendall, 6'4", 300, 3-year starter at center, 4.51 in the shuttle, which is good. High IQ guy, and he can be moved to guard. If not a Drew Kendall, there's Tyler Cooper out of Minnesota, played both left and right guard in Minnesota. Smart. At center, it could be Jake Majors, who we've spoken about from Texas. 6'6", 300, but plays bigger. More of a pass blocker than a run blocker, but you have the right guards by him. They can help. Connor Colby out of Iowa. Love him. Over 50 career starts. And throughout his career, played right guard, left guard, and right tackle for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah.
And is super smart, super high IQ. There's Willie Lampkin, the fire hydrant out of UNC. 5'10", 290. Stout, but not my cup of tea when you're that underweight.
You know what, George? In talking about going back to the Boston College, New England connection here, I'll be honest. I think the fans win with this because if you can watch a kid play at Boston College and you can say, I like that guy, that linebacker, that lineman, that quarterback, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then they mess around and get drafted by the Patriots. You have literally watched that player grow. That's what's missing in college sports right now. I mean, you and I talk about March Madness all the time. Have these kids with the transfer portal and all this, you don't know who the hell these kids are, and the one and dones. So I think if Boston College can sort of morph into a feeder for the Patriots, not saying you're going to draft the whole Boston College roster if you're the Pats, but if you could, cherry pick and get a couple kids from here or there, that's a win for the fans because now you have that connectivity with that kid that you watched in college now going to your favorite pro team as well.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome to see. Those guys are great. Awesome to see that pro day. Bill O'Brien, I mean, built something special out there.
He's doing it.
You got an NFL coach, a guy with NFL experience. He goes, I push that for these guys to get recruits in.
Yeah.
And we see it. A lot of good prospects out at that pro day. It was awesome to be at. Hey, if you're enjoying Foxboro Rush, make sure to also check out Boston Has Entered the Chat. New episodes dropping every Monday through Friday. Wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime. You could also watch it on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch as well. All right, Trav. So DK Metcalf saga is not completely behind the Patriots.
Oh, gosh.
New report, Tommy Curran of NBC Sports Boston. He said this while appearing on WEI. DK just simply did not want to sign long-term with the Patriots.
And I think that they started with, and that's why they talked about option A's, B's, and C's. Their option A was Godwin, Ronnie Stanley, and Milton Williams. We're going to get these guys. They didn't do it. Then they go in on Metcalf, which Phil did a good job of reporting that never was an offer made. I kind of, in talking to you guys, made it sound more like they were never in on him. I've come to find out that they were. It was more of a DK Metcalf. They had conversations. An offer was not made. That's correct. But I've kind of been redirected from folks outside of New England. They were in on him. They were trying to make. He didn't want to come here, so they were in on these guys. But there was kind of a sliding scale. But you're right. You want those guys don't necessarily want to come here, so you have to pay through the nose to try and make it happen. And maybe even then, they still don't want to come here. So we'll see what happens with a guy like Diggs, who I think introduced himself to say, I'm not getting anything here. Why don't I just go to New England, and then I'll put a bunch of workout videos out there so that I can start to, jumpstart my market.
DK never interested on the Patriots. I was a big one. Why would you not trade for him? You have more money. You got a better draft pick. And honestly, good luck to DK Metcalf. He could have had a Drake May. Instead, he has who knows with the Steelers. Because think of all this talk, too. Like Jameis Winston ending up with the Giants. The Browns were like, fine, go ahead. We'll let you go. $4 million a year. Go ahead. The Steelers let Justin Fields go to the Jets. And the Steelers are letting Russell Wilson do whatever the hell he wants.
Listen, we talked about this on this show when this rumor started. And DK was forcing his way out of Seattle. And I told you back then, and I ended up being right, that there was very, like, there was videos circulating. He was very outspoken and open about not wanting to come to the area. He didn't want to come to New England for the area. He didn't like the weather. He didn't like anything. And I told you then, they're not getting him. Like, it's not going to happen. He doesn't want to be here. And I'm at the point now, as desperate as this team is for a number one wide receiver, there's no doubt about it. I don't give a damn. If you don't want to be here, I don't want you here. I don't want someone here that's going to stunt my potentially great young quarterback's growth.
Yep.
I have a new coach who's no nonsense, doesn't take any BS, and he's trying to build a culture here. The last thing I want is a guy that doesn't want to be here. I am so over DK Metcalf. I was over it once I saw the videos of him saying he didn't want to come to New England. Everyone has a choice in life, okay?
Yeah.
And I always tell you this story too, George. I'll never forget when my agent called and he's like, hey, have you ever heard of Nesson? Yeah. He's like, are you interested? They're looking for X, Y, and Z. And I said, yeah. I had a choice then. I could have said, nah, I don't want to go to New England. I don't want to go to Boston. You know, like you have a choice in this stuff.
Yeah.
DK never wanted to come here.
Yep.
So bye-bye. I don't want to hear all the, they tried and no. He said clearly he didn't want to come here. Screw him. Good luck in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers. How's that going to work out for you? It ain't. How's that sound?
And Arthur Smith instead of Josh McDaniels.
Right.
You put it eloquently.
He's an idiot.
Let's get to the mailbag. Some great comments from the folks that checked out our mock draft. First one is our guy, David Rodriguez.
Okay.
Skipping on Hampton in the second round is one of the biggest mistakes I've ever seen anybody make in a mock draft.
Yeah, David.
Love Omarion Hampton as a prospect, would be a terrible fit with the Patriots. Now, in the mock, the Browns were picking right after the Patriots. Omarion Hampton landing
not a terrible fit.
Dude, they don't have an offensive line.
Bro, you need him because he's going to create his own damn holes.
What was Saquon before he got to the Eagles? He got to the Eagles?
He was awesome. He just couldn't stay healthy.
Injured. Because the offensive line sucked.
Right.
That would be Omarion Hampton.
Fair.
David, you're not wrong. Now, if the Bears in that mock pass on him, they're morons. If I was running that for the Bears, I'm a moron. I agree.
Yeah.
Patriots fit doesn't make sense. And we could talk about Ashton Ginty. We could talk about Omarion Hampton. We could look at Jahmyr Gibbs. Look, those offensive lines are all world. Omarion Hampton, later on in that mock, I went crazy when I saw Devin Neal going to the Vikings because that offensive line is good, and Devin Neal in that system would absolutely kill. This one from C. Hodson. I like the first two picks, but if we do not draft a wide receiver early, do not draft a guy that might develop into a number 2 later. We already have a lot of those kinds of players taking up spots on our roster. Either get a wide receiver 1 in the first round or wait till next year and hope that someone develops.
Yep.
That risks wasting a year, but drafting a wide receiver in the third is not going to lessen that risk. There are no wide receiver 2s on this roster.
Yeah.
Maybe Kendrick Bourne.
Maybe.
No, that's it. Maybe.
No, that's it.
So I understand you hearing me say Jalen Noel could be a number 2, and you're like, I don't want that. So you'd rather draft no pass catchers and develop because Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, I don't know if those guys got it. But Jalen Noel will be Tyler Lockett, but more explosive. Darnell Mooney, but thicker. More confident hands, better run blocker, super smart route runner.
Yeah.
Watch Drake May and Josh Downs. Look at the numbers Josh Downs put up at UNC with Drake May.
Right.
Jalen Noel would be that type of guy. Not as quick, but big, physical, insane vertical, insane broad jump. And Josh McDaniels always loved having an athletic slot in his system. There are no wide receiver 2s on this offense.
Yeah.
Jalen Noel would be that. And he'd be Tyler Lockett. I'm talking 10-plus year NFL career as a wide receiver 2. Very productive, too. You would take Tyler Lockett's career, 1,000 yards, right around 10 touchdowns a year. You would take that. They don't have anyone on this roster that can get that.
He was clutch, too. Listen, he talks about risk. There was no – everything was a risk. DK Metcalf was a risk. I think T. Higgins. We were also quick to give T. Higgins all the money in the world to come here and be a wide receiver 1. We didn't know if he could be that or not. Obviously, those things never came to fruition. DK didn't want to be here. T. Higgins never left Cincy. But it's all a risk, brother. Where I agree with you, it does feel like they're going to – and this is smart. They're kicking the can down the road on trying to get a true wide receiver 1 till next offseason, and I'm fine with that. Fix your offensive line. I would like to see you become more dynamic in the run game personally. Yeah. We'll see if that happens. And clearly, they're building a great defense.
If there was a Malik Neighbors in this draft, Patriots would go with Malik Neighbors at 4. And they
That's
would
right.
wait till the second round for offensive tackle.
That's
There
right.
isn't that guy, and Tim
Absolutely.
McMillan has that question mark. From NFL Draft Dialogue, I swear this is not my burner YouTube channel. This was a very good draft. I would have taken Belton in the 5th, even though you already have Ursary, just a real value there. Yeah. True, but took Trapillo with 106. First undrafted free agent they need to go get is this Kendall kid. Familiarity with him and Trapillo and Marone should be a good thing. Even with Majors, more competition is better. So he sees the Jake Majors draft pick as well. Yeah, I like all that. I mean, just that'd be in that way. Yes, if you have Trapillo along with Ursary and you have Jake Majors and Drew Kendall, I think you would go with one of those two interior offensive linemen, revamp the offensive line room. One more. Matt 46118. Okay. I do not agree. We need a slot. We need an X receiver. Douglas is the slot.
Where are you finding that at, buddy?
Pop Douglas is a good wide receiver 4, and he is undersized to a point. Jalen Noel would be a dominant slot. Pop Douglas would be that gadget type, twitchy receiver on the outside that you can drop special plays for. Yeah. Jalen Noel, week in, week out, drive in, drive out to impact guy. I obviously have a huge bias for him. I watch his tape. I absolutely love him.
Yep.
Long arms, big hands, can jump through the roof, really good route runner, and 3 years of high-level production at Iowa State as well, where he had terrible quarterback play. Everyone that didn't like the Jaden Higgins one, sure, fine. I actually don't think Higgins will be there at 77, but go watch Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. Watch a quarterback they were playing with, and imagine them with the Drake May. Jalen Noel's better than a Pop Douglas. Pop's good, but you got to make this offense better.
I don't know what Matt 364729 is talking about, because X receivers don't just grow on trees, brother. I mean, it's just, well, you don't need another slot. Go get an X receiver. Yeah, if it was that simple, we wouldn't be in this situation, would we?
They choose to go play in Pittsburgh over New England. He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji, and that's at the loss of that ex-receiver and DK Metcalf.
Thanks.
This is Foxboro Rush. Appreciate you guys making us a part of your day. Thanks for leaving comments on the YouTube channel. Make sure to go to Netson's YouTube page, like, subscribe, rate, review. For Double T and GB, we'll see you guys on Friday.